Hey everybody, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit the 90s Britney Spears videos. Sometimes, and You Drive Me Crazy. So grab your virginal midriff exposing top and join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian, and we are revisiting two videos by Britney Spears from the 90s. As
from the 90s.
Any faithful listener knows, we don't typically branch beyond the year 2000 when we revisit. So there were two videos from Britney from 1999. We did not do Baby One More Time because that has like 700 million views, and I think that's been talked about enough.
Well, not only that, I think that when we're comparing videos, we want to try to compare apples to apples for the most part. You know, we obviously if we did Baby One More Time, I would suspect we're gonna like it better. It's
true because it's like more
familiar and everything else.
And as you know, when we do music videos, one of the two that we're discussing always ends up in our vault, our music video vault. And so
I think there's a game show in there too.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. And so whichever video wins today, based on our pop culture analysis, it will join the likes of such videos as Take On Me by a-ha, Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar.
We're Not Gonna Take It.
We're Not Gonna Take It.
Twisted Sister.
Oh gosh, We Got the Beat. What was it? Head Over Heels.
Head Over Heels.
Yep, by the Go-Go's. So so
Express Yourself, Madonna.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's an exciting time. So Britney, 1999. So Christina, what was your feeling about Britney Spears back in the late 90s?
So the late 90s, I liked Britney. I mean, I was a little bit older, so I wasn't really in that whole craze of Britney and Justin Timberlake and, all the boy bands and things like that. I was a little bit old for that, but I liked her. I enjoyed her music. I'll never forget, you and I were talking like a million years ago, right? It was probably in the 90s. And you're like, I think I know why people like this music so much. And I'm like, why, Brian? Enlighten me. And you're like, because it sounds kind of Christmassy. Like, it gives people the feeling of, like, Christmas joy. And I think that appeals to people in general.
There's a specific... I can't believe you remember that. I'm very flattered.
Everything you say, I remember.
But it's like the bells. Like, even... sometimes analysts let You Drive Me Crazy... Oh, God, let's go crazy.
Here we go.
Even sometimes, and You Drive Me Crazy, there's the background, they have bells. I think in You Drive Me Crazy, there's even cowbells. And I think there's this idea of like little bells that remind people of the holidays, of Christmas, of winter, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's subliminal. I don't think someone's sitting there rubbing their hands together, trying to screw people over with
bells in there. We'll get the Christian vote.
With subliminal Christmas music. But because every single song, like at that time in the late 90s, it was like, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney and, I don't know, maybe Christina and Jessica Simpson. But a lot of their more upbeat songs had bells. And I was like, I think that there's something to that idea. But that's so funny. I appreciate you remembering that.
Of course.
But you liked Britney.
I liked her. She didn't offend me in any way. I liked her. I didn't love her. I wasn't a huge fan, but I liked her. Yeah. She was pleasant. I wouldn't change the station if it came on. She always had sort of, unoffensive. It's like just pleasant, unoffensive.
That's right. I mean,
Yeah. So it was just, it was pleasant. You'd always kind of sway to it, and knew the words probably to most songs of hers.
I really liked her too. I feel like there was a time where it was like, are you Team Britney or Team Christina? Christina Aguilera. And I've always been Team Britney in that way, just because I do think most of her songs like feel a little more. Oh God, not innocent, but more like positive.
Yes.
And I think Christina liked to add more edge, and sometimes it just didn't. Sometimes it just didn't like match what I was seeing.
Yes.
You know, and it felt a little forced with Christina. When Christina Aguilera did like the Dirty album and all that,
she was
trying.
Yeah, she was much more. You know, you said it well.
Although at the same time, then Britney did "I'm a Slave for You," and that was kind of pushing.
But that was after.
That was after.
This is, you know, you get the sense, and I know, oh my gosh, this is going to be like a controversial statement, and this could lead us right down a rabbit hole that we don't necessarily have to go down. But you get the sense that she has a lot of people. Britney, I'm talking about. She has a lot of people around making the decisions for her.
Yeah. And
handling her.
Yeah. Did you watch Framing?
I did not, but I'm intrigued. I actually, especially after watching these two videos, I'm like, I bet I would like to watch that and see what's happening.
So I watched it. It's on Hulu. It's an hour, but thanks to Hulu, and I don't have the premium plan.
God, it's like an hour and a half.
Oh my God, it's like almost 2 hours long. It's like there's so many commercial breaks.
Hulu drives me crazy that way. Drives me crazy.
But the thing is, I wish it dealt. The documentary's fine. I wish it dealt more with what we're talking about, with like the earlier part of like her trajectory. She went from the Mickey Mouse Club to really not working. She started with Star Search and talent shows and all that. But I think what's interesting is I feel like they couldn't. There's part of me that feels like they couldn't wait to sexualize Britney Spears, even in these videos. That we can jump into now, I think. I mean, like the videos, because even back then, the videos were fine. I mean, like I liked them. I think she's a great dancer.
She really is.
But in both videos, her stomach's exposed.
Yes.
And you can be wearing all this white and doing all these little innocent lyrics, but the camera focuses. There's a line where she says, she'll say, "Hold you tight," and then she says, "Treat you right." This is for sometimes. I have sometimes down first.
Yeah, I can. I'll do this. Yeah.
The camera cuts to her abs, and it's like when she says "treat you right," and it's like it's brief enough, but it's noticeable,
and it's absolutely intended.
She's
like, there's no mistaking any of those views and pans.
Absolutely.
Panning in and panning up. There's no accidents there.
She is 17 years old in both of these videos, and I think, I don't know, I mean, listen, time does a lot, but it's like, I don't know if I was watching this then going, this girl's only 17, this is wrong, but I think this is, but now I feel
you're looking at it
we're like
way,
the parents, right? You're like, oh my God, what is she wearing? Like, but it's like, it's not, but to your point, I don't think Britney Spears at 17 is saying, I want to wear this, mama. Like, I think, people are, like you're saying, telling her what to wear.
Yes. And let's talk about sometimes. No. I'm just saying, like, we usually do one and then a break into the other. So let's talk about sometimes. And I agree, like the midriff, it's prevalent in both videos.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that was appropriate to have that conversation. But what I find was interesting about, I had a point now, I forget it.
I'm
Damn
sorry.
it. I hate when that happens.
My fault.
It is totally your fault.
I know, I didn't stop talking.
100%.
Do you want me to say something or no?
Whole damn episode over. I'm just kidding. I think that what's different about now and then is, yes, she's 17 years old, and they are sexualizing her in a lot of ways. Although I don't think it's as obvious then as it is now. Like now, they'll just come out and wear a bikini and grind on the floor and all this stuff. And that's how they're sexualizing things now. Mm-hmm. Back then, I actually appreciated the subtlety of it. Mm-hmm. And especially with Sometimes, mostly with Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because she is so, like, you get that feeling of innocence in this video. It's a sweet song, mm-hmm. and the video, the tone matches the song so perfectly in that. And yes, and her face, she's so pretty.
She's so pretty.
And she's so young. She doesn't have like this ton of makeup on. And even just like the way she's dancing is very sweet. It's good dancing, but it's not. She's not really grinding, and you know. And even when in her dancing, when she is dancing with a man, it's the same thing. It's just really sweet.
And in fact, there's very few scenes with her and a man. He's alone on the beach. It's all.
I'm thinking the dance partner.
For sure,
with the white.
Yeah. It's very, it is, it's funny. I agree. I will say, I do think the dancing was odd to me for a ballad. And not that it wasn't sexy dancing by any stretch. It was very innocent dancing, to your point. But I feel like it was just kind of like, I don't quite know if this is a dance song, even to the little bit of dancing they're doing in this.
Yeah.
I liked all the white, to your point, like, and she looks so pretty. And, like, she's just like this white, virginal little angel, you know?
She is an absolute angel.
Yeah. But then you do have, and that's why I think when the camera, the director, his name is Nigel Dick, the same director as Baby One More Time and You Drive Me Crazy.
Interesting.
He does cut to her tummy when she's saying things like Treat You Right.
Definitely.
For some reason, she is sitting on the floor of a garage in front of a car for some reason. And it's just like, so you do notice those little choices.
Yes, and it's the subtlety though,
Yeah.
and it makes it creepier, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's creepier because it's subtle, because she's this sweet little angel, and then what I noticed a lot was she would be like looking down and singing, and all of a sudden looking up, and like has that like sexy look to her, and I'm like, he is like a pedophile's dream director, because that's really what it is. It's like the really sweet, innocent little girl that I want you to want to fuck.
Yeah. So
right?
Oh my god, that is so weird. I almost wasn't going to say what I was going to say, and you just said it. That's Kristen. I have that note that it's like there's certain directorial choices. There's lyrics that she says, "Sometimes I run, sometimes I hide." You know, but I want to be with you day and night. All I need is time. It's like that is the inner dialogue of addictees. Like, I'm going to run from you, I'm going to hide from you, but I really think about you all the time, and I want to treat you right, bye-bye. Like, and I
not
think...
right now.
but it's like, it is a
very
bit weird,
teasy.
because the way it's directed is like, I'm an angel, but I'm just not ready to be what you want me to be, but I'm going to be right. It's like
That's interesting.
That was just my take, because it's only because hindsight is 20/20, because we know now what we know, and I think maybe part of my grown-up brain was like trying to identify like how this, you know, where in the Britney trajectory did things go from the white virginal dancing on a beach to holding snakes and the slave for you and all that kind of stuff.
That's interesting. I disagree a little bit. Well, my perspective, I'm not going to disagree with you, because everybody has their own perception of things. So
you can disagree.
You can,
Christina,
have your perception. No, but my perception was a little more innocent. Like that was it related more to the video where she was sort of just watching him from afar. Like she was too shy to approach him, and she wanted to do all these things, but she was more like almost like just a sort of a secret admirer. Was more my take on it, not necessarily like I'm gonna like be with you but not do you.
I'm telling you, I think I went too literal. I mean, this is like a 4-minute video, but I was like, I was over, and usually it's funny because I want to like things. This time around, I was like, I want to like really like consider this, because I just watched the documentary, and it was like, is any of this inappropriate? And I was like, yeah, he probably didn't have to focus on her stomach. He probably didn't have to have her look like the doe-eyed innocent girl, but the lyrics coming out of her mouth are not quite what's on display.
Well, and I think that speaks to sort of a brilliance about this director too, because he's really speaking to every person out there. He's speaking to the kids who like her and want to see that sort of innocent version, but at the same time, he's speaking to the perverts who want to see the sexual part of it, right? So I feel like it's almost like a brilliant, like, okay, I want her to look, I want it to be both ways in one video. And you could. If you went in there and said, this is a sexual video, I want you to look at all the sexual parts. You're going to look at it differently than, oh, this is just her first video and it's really a sweet video. You might look at it differently. Yeah. So it's just sort of, like, to me, I feel like it was sort of very intended. And I thought it was pretty brilliant in the way that they did it.
Yeah. I guess I
will. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying,
go ahead.
I did like, as much as I thought the dancing sort of was weird for a ballad, I like the dancing interludes. I really did like this video.
I really enjoyed this video a lot. Yeah. And I will say I liked the dancing, and I know you're like, it's kind of weird for a ballad, but I didn't really even consider this too much of a ballad. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it's a slower paced, but it has like that beat.
Yeah. It was number 11 on the adult contemporary charts.
Yeah. But it's like, if that's funny. But yeah, I mean, it has like a beat to it, and I liked the dancing was actually like almost comforting watching it. Like it's like sort of smooth kind of moves.
I can't play it because a fun fact. We got YouTube pulled our Batman show because we used the Bat dance for 4 seconds. So I'm afraid to even play a Britney.
I think we can still try it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in the break we'll surprise you all. But I did find that when they formed the heart out of people was like so goofy. Yeah. I'm like, that was one of my big negatives. Yeah. For sure. I haven't looked at any of my notes. Oh. What else are...
Well, I just did some chart research. Like, so this came out, the video came out May 6th, 1999. It was on the top 40 number 6 in top 40, number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 11 on the adult contemporary charts, and it was finished in the top 10 in over 20 countries. This is a bigger song than I thought, because I was like, I remember the song and the video very, very, like, pretty clearly.
Well, I was surprised that I remembered all the lyrics. I'm like singing along to it. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I knew this song so well.
But yeah, did you have a chance to look at your notes?
I did, yeah. Okay. So there's not a lot there. Yeah. I just said that, I loved that. I loved the beach. Like, I love the fact that they used the beach because it has the tone of the song is so like kind of easy going, and the beach is super like easy going, and I thought it was like a good tone.
Paradise Cove and Malibu. That's where
nice.
It was shot.
And I did say I felt like it was age appropriate for her and the way that she was dressed. I know the midriff, but that was a 90s thing.
No, it's not so much that she was wearing the midriff.
It was
that is a total 90s
I know what
thing.
you mean. It's
it was
the
directing.
shots
it was the directing of the
midriff during certain lines.
Correct.
But I thought it was pretty age appropriate with just like her dancing and her moves and her dress and things like that. I thought it was nice. It was refreshing to see that. And that, basically, and I loved that she didn't end up with him. Yeah. Right? I think other videos would have had them walking together on the beach, walking away at the end.
On like the picnic
she's
right?
she's alone, and she's like, I just need some time. Yeah. And she still just needs a little more time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, do you have anything
That was
else
it.
To
that
add?
was it. We shall take a little break, and we'll come back with You Drive Me Crazy.
Sounds great. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back, talking about Britney Spears videos from the late 90s. Our next one is You Drive Me Crazy.
And I guess we're not going to have a little song for the intro.
Do you want to? I'll do it. Why don't you talk now, and I'll find it. Okay,
so You Drive Me Crazy, 1999. I I remember this video, but it didn't have like a lasting impression on me. You know, I kind of remembered it just being a dance club scene. And that's, yeah, I mean, not much of an impression for the then.
Really?
For me. What about you? Oh, here we go. Don't go more than 4 seconds.
It's, well, there you go. We're not even getting Britney on there.
No, yeah. I think, honestly, I think it was a Prince thing. We talked about this already.
Yeah.
But I think that it was a Prince thing with
Okay.
the bat dance. I think he has a lot of people working for him even after.
So I remember loving this video. I loved all the dancing and how fun it was. I think Britney was actually really fun in it. Like, I liked her as the waitress in the beginning.
Yes.
You kind of saw some shades of acting from her. And that was actually her idea to be a waitress. And it's funny... and I'm talking about then, but I did kind of like wished, and I still wish, that it was like all in a waitress outfit. I think that would have been a really funny, fun video.
Yeah, I missed the waitress, to be honest.
Oh,
like,
the very beginning. She's like
no,
chopping and gum. Sorry.
No. I remember the waitress. I loved the waitress, but I missed it. Like, I was expecting it to be further in and show up again. That's
all I have to say. We can dive into now because I have very similar notes to what you just said about other things.
So... yeah, so now I put it on, and not a super positive review of this video.
Oh, okay.
It was okay to me, and I watched it second.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did that too. Okay, I watched it second. We should talk about that actually before. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's interesting though. But it was like Sabrina the Teenage Witch shows up randomly. For no apparent reason.
So that's what I thought. Until Adrian Grenier,
from Entourage.
So they were in it to promote their movie Drive Me Crazy. They were in a movie called Drive Me Crazy. This was
funny?
From the movie Drive Me Crazy.
So,
I did not
that
know
makes more sense then, because I'm like, and I looked it up after I watched the video. I actually looked up. I'm like, when was Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Like, was this sort of before it or after? But it was right smack dab in the middle. So that was interesting. And then I just thought, Adrian, I thought it was he must have just been at that point in time, not an actor, but more just a model or whatever. Yeah. But interestingly enough, I looked up an interview with him, and it was just a clip of an interview. Yeah. And he was being asked, who was the host? What happens now? Watch
Andy
what happens.
Cohen?
Yeah, Andy Cohen was interviewing him, and he asked, how did you end up in Britney's video? Did you ever regret it? And he was talking like he made the deal. He said that he would be in it if Britney would agree to be interviewed by him, because he was doing a documentary on his father. He was a missing, I don't know if he had a missing father. He was trying to find his father.
Okay.
And he knew that Britney had father issues. And so he wanted to interview her. And so they approached him to be in this video, but he's like, I will if she is in my documentary. It was this weird thing. I'm like, how did he have all this power? It seems weird that he had an upper hand anywhere in that time frame.
So here's what's funny. I think on Wikipedia or something, he was reluctant to do the video. It mentions nothing of that, which makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But he was reluctant to do it. He didn't want to do it. And the feeling was, and that the director basically had to convince him, listen, Britney's a great girl. She's really professional. He didn't want to be in what it sounds like is a teeny bopper music video.
Right.
One note before, because I meant to say it during sometimes too, is that Britney, it's really interesting because I did a little bit of research that people love working with her.
Yeah.
That she is a total professional. She is always prepared, overly prepared. She walks in and knows exactly where she needs to be, what to do, and all that. And so it was nice to hear and see, especially where so many people rely on you, to be in that sort of position, and then with You Drive Me Crazy, it's a huge cast of dancers and craziness, and she's in the middle of all of it, and to just walk in and be she knows all her steps, she knows the whole thing, she's ready to lip sync, has her costume, it's kind of I was pleasantly surprised to be, for her to be 17 and so with it. The Adrian part, I mean, what did he even do in this video?
Well, I know.
It was it was like
a bartender.
And also, but it was also just dropped. Like, it was like, oh, is he interested in Melissa Joan Hart? But then she seems more interested in the DJ.
Well, that's why,
but then it's just dropped completely.
Yeah, it's a weird video if you're looking for any sort of storyline. Like, honestly, and that's what I think coming off of Sometimes, I expected more in terms of, like, a storyline. And then when you see Melissa Joan Hart and you see Adrian, I'm like, oh, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. You just see her giggling, and you see him mixing drinks, and Britney is dancing with a bunch of other people, and there's lots of lights, and, I mean, and it was definitely a little more sexualized in this one, with, some of the moves and things. But, I mean, it spoke to the tone of the song.
Yeah, the song is...
It wasn't overly...
It didn't bother me in this video.
Yeah.
At all. And there are those torso shots and all that.
Well, maybe because it was more straightforward. Like, this is what she is.
Party.
Whereas the other one is more like subconsciously like, here's this little girl that I'm selling to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a little bit easier. It's an easier pill to swallow because it's just like, oh, look, she's a slut.
Yeah. I will say in this... God. I will say in this one, she has a very mouthy lip sync. I thought her Sometimes lip sync was a bit better.
Yes.
I will say Britney is she has a convincing amount of swagger for 17. She really was really acting in this, I feel like. I know I said it with the waitress scene but throughout, like you feel like there's like a level of confidence that is far beyond a 17-year-old, and you get the feeling she's playing a role, and she's really quite confident.
Yes,
I liked her in this video. At 2 minutes and 37 seconds, she has an amazing high kick that I
remember seeing.
Yeah, I rewinded. I was like, I'm like, wait, was that her? I wasn't sure if it was her or background dancer, but it was her, and it was crazy.
Crazy,
how crazy it really was.
So funny. But I do wonder. And I just wonder how much of that training, like she knows her dance moves, she knows where to go, she's doing it well. It makes me nervous about what happens behind the scenes, like with the preparing of it, and because allegedly, all these control issues and all this stuff going on. I worry at like the 17-year-old. Was she allowed to play, or was it more of like a dictatorship?
Yeah.
You practice.
You watch the documentary.
Yeah.
It seems like she wants this, and that she loves doing it.
Yeah, and you get that sense. You do get the sense.
Yeah. Like she wanted to, like, she was performing in malls, and she really wanted to do this, and she worked tirelessly. Her mom actually seems like a very sweet person. Her dad, not so much. But he was in fact seemingly very hands off until she started making money. But I think, I got the feeling from the documentary and from just things I've read that she really loved doing this stuff. Sure. She loves dancing. She loves singing. She loves all the whole shebang. And
you do get that sense. Yeah. That is a hard thing to fake.
I just wrote Melissa Joan Hart is 100% more interested in the DJ. Yeah, we're crazy, but we feel all right. It's a funny line to me.
I got a lot of Janet Jackson vibes.
Oh, the chair.
Right?
The chair. Yeah, she pulls the chair. Yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of ways. I mean, even just like confidence and even like almost that's kind of a skippy kind of thing that Janet Jackson does. I got a lot of those Janet Jackson vibes. Even the sound of the song. Yeah. Like you could see that being a Janet Jackson song.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. So this was number 4 in the top 40, number 10 in the Billboard Hot 100. Interesting bit. This video was in the top 10 on Total Request Live. Carson Daly.
Yeah.
So top 10 for 73 days.
Oh my gosh.
And at the time, and I think that was a record for a while for a female artist.
Wow.
So it was in the top 10 for 73 days, which is 2.5 months. That's wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. anything else? It's really all my notes. I really enjoyed the video. I think it checked off all the boxes. I think it would have been stronger. There's another Britney reference. Stronger without Adrian and Melissa Joan Hart. They didn't add anything.
They didn't add anything.
If you're going to put celebrities in your music video, do something with them.
And I think that was it affected my opinion of it much negative. Yeah. Much more negative.
That is my negative. It's like I don't understand their
because I'm watching. So honestly, my overall thought of this video was that it was boring.
Interesting.
Because I was in it. Because it says I wrote as active as it was boring.
Okay.
Because it was really just the same thing over and over again. It was just her dancing, and I like her dancing, but it was like the same moves. And there was like this one area when she's sitting in a chair and, bends over or whatever. But aside from that, so it's dancing.
Yeah.
More dancing. A shot of Melissa Joan Hart. Dancing. Adrian. Dancing. Chair. Dancing. Melissa Joan Hart. Adrian. Dancing, end of video.
Keep going. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's it.
I was hoping you'd go for like 2 straight minutes, just going on. But I will say, I want to just say, I think this speaks to the middle-age lens, right? Because when back in our day, music videos had plots.
Yes.
And I go back to that because Christina, I completely agree with you that there's no story here. Sometimes actually does have a story. And I think it does speak to our age and how we grew up where music videos had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And of course there were dance interludes, but there was a story. Almost always.
Almost always. Or at least a message.
Yeah, a message or something.
I definitely enjoyed the stories more. But if there wasn't a story, there was a message.
There's also not even, it's like You Drive Me Crazy. Who's the you in that?
Yeah, nobody knows.
No one is her object of affection. It's not Adrian.
So she's not even part of the lyrics.
That's right.
It's just a weird.
It's weird, and it's not enough of Adrian and Melissa to even make it a story. So
they didn't do anything. Even if they were in it for a short period of time and at least did something.
Right.
They didn't do anything. Yeah. They may as well to the point where I wasn't sure. I'm pointing, and to the point where I'm pointing. To the point where I questioned whether or not Adrian was even a recognized movie star at that point. I had to look that up.
I know what you mean.
He was probably just I would not have been surprised if he had not been discovered yet. Mm-hmm. And he was just the bartender in this.
But instead he was the lead in a movie called Drive Me Crazy, which I had never heard of before.
Now that you're mentioning it, I'm sort of remembering it a tiny bit. I never saw it, but I'm kind of remembering it a tiny bit.
Also, really quick, this came out on July 18th, 1999, just for that. So just a few months after sometimes. So, shall we vote?
Yeah.
Which makes the vault?
Yeah. Let's see what makes the vault. I should have my own little set of papers, so I'm not ripping out a piece of paper out of my notebook. That's fine. So we're going to write down which video we want to save.
Yeah,
and the other one will be destroyed and never to be seen again.
That's right.
So it's it's a kind of a hefty responsibility.
Okay. I'm ready when you are. 1, 2, 3.
Sometimes, good. I'm so glad.
Because I went back to the way that you thought about some of these videos in the past, where what I like about this, since we're saving it for our vault, that Britney is quite virginal in this and white and innocent, and I would like to have that as our time capsule vault moment, because we have plenty of videos of Britney dancing.
Sure, and who's not to say we might revisit it 2000.
You never know. We might run out of stuff.
Version of oh yeah. Well, I guess we wouldn't do 2000, but who knows what's going to happen.
You never know.
But I think that it represents Britney more
for that time and how we met, although we met her with Baby One More Time, which is not very innocent. But what I liked is that, if you were ever to look at this...
She just said, I'm not that innocent.
Yeah. But she's had so many good songs.
She really has.
Oh, my God. But anyway, all that to say, That's it. That's all I have
I'm
to
sorry.
say.
You
I had a thought, and I thought, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't
I
even
just
matter.
think that this video represents Britney, and it has all the pieces that you want from her. You have the dancing, you have the storyline, the lip syncing,
the beauty,
you know, all of that. Like just what she kind of represented in that 90s. And you have the innocence, and you also have the sexuality. Yeah. So it's like everything all wrapped up into one cute little Britney bow.
Do you have like a favorite Britney song? Like if you were to just...
Oh, that's a good question. I'd have to give it some
so
thought.
many. I know. I was honestly...
I'd have to take a look and actually look at the list of Britney songs before I can answer that question.
There's so many good songs.
Yeah.
I mean, from Toxic to Oops, I Did It Again.
Oops,
I mean,
Oops, I Did It Again is like...
Well, even like the Blackout album, there's a lot of good... Oh my god. She is... Yeah, I'm a fan. All right. Well, that was it. Yay, Britney. And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.